Soundcast.
This is a Village Soundcast Network original production.
This is Less Than Live with Kate or Die, a bi-weekly podcast about comics from all angles. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm reading and doing, as well as interviewing some of my friends and favorite creators in the industry. So come along with me on this journey into geek culture. On today's introductory episode, I answer some Twitter questions and get you caught up with what I'm doing in the industry. Then I talk about comics I'm reading and loving, like Lumberjanes and Sex Criminals, before we move into an interview with Ian McGinty of Bravest Warriors, where we talk about Godzilla. So, for those of you who don't know me or what I do, I will give you a brief overview. I'm a cartoonist from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I got my start at a comic book shop called Strange Adventures, where I've been working for the last 4 years. I do a comic called Kate or Die, which is a mostly autobiographical comic about sex and feminism and the comics industry. It's a little all over the place. But I started posting that in late 2010, early 2011, primarily through Tumblr and various other social medias. And it became a website which updates with absolutely no regularity whenever I feel like it or have a day off that I don't have a deadline at this point. And that transitioned over the last year into a bi-weekly strip for Comics Alliance, which is a news website that I had loved for a very long time. And I was asked to be a part of it. So now I update every 2 weeks with a strip about geek culture or, movies, media. It's a little bit about everything, but a little less about my own personal sexual experiences than my blog. So I try to focus it more on Batman. My work on Tumblr led me to some projects with Kaboom Studios, and they are an all-ages subsection of Boom, which publishes Regular Show and Adventure Time, and now Bee and Puppycat just started, which is incredible. So I've done some work with them, and that led to me writing a graphic novel called Adventure Time Seeing Red, which is about Marceline and Jake, basically in a hellscape fighting for a lost guitar. It's very punk rock, or at least I like to think so. And I recently became the series writer for Bravest Warriors, so as of sometime in June, I'll be doing that. I also do some work with IDW, and I run a group online called the Valkyries, which is for women in comics, or women who work in comic shops. So it's this kind of society of about 200 members at this point, women who work in comics retail. So those are my various endeavors. It's a lot of little things in different places. I also work with I work with Night Vale, designing, some merchandise for them. Welcome to Night Vale, which is another podcast that I really love. So that is me. As this podcast rolls and hills erode and time moves on, I will be talking about the things that I am doing and the places I'm traveling, since I lead a fairly interesting life for a person living on the East Coast of Canada. I go to a lot of shows, and I am part of a lot of different events. I won't always be able to tell you what I'm working on because of goddamn non-disclosure agreements, my enemy. But I can tell you what I have been up to, and what I have been up to is the Toronto Comic Arts Festival, which is my favorite show every year, especially for an indie show. I was a really big fan of Emerald City this year, but that is a larger convention. TCAF is focused on creators primarily, and it was the first big show that I really went to 4 years ago, and all I had was these tiny stapled together mini comics that I had printed at a copy shop and left them on the tables of various people that I was too scared to talk to. And now, 4 years later, I tabled with my Adventure Time book and a whole bunch of different things that I had been a part of through Kaboom Studios and through my own work. So that is an amazing festival. It is too little sleep, too much drink, and more comics than you could ever possibly handle. It's put on by the beguiling and an amazing man named Chris Butcher, who is a hero to the people and a handsome warrior. And it's 2 days, although everyone stays for several, of just seeing everyone that you follow on Twitter in person and drinking in hotel rooms with them. And on top of that, everyone has comics. So this year was a great show. I didn't get to leave my table anywhere near as much as I had in previous years. I was on a few panels, which was new for me because the few years before I had just snuck into them. But this year I got to be on an amazing one with my hotel mate, Noelle Stevenson, who is the creator of a webcomic called Nimona, which is massively popular. She's Ginger Hayes on Tumblr, where we grew up together on the internet, side by side. And so she and I and two other women did a panel about writing for a female audience, which was really great, and had a surprising number of men in the audience, which was really cool. We often wonder if they had stumbled in by mistake. But we got to talk a lot about the female gaze and the male gaze and sexuality in comics and criticism in comics and, creating newer and better things in the place of problems or, seeing something and making something better as well as being critical of it. So that was really cool. And we talked a lot about, the direction that Marvel is moving in now, or I talked a lot about it, with actually acknowledging that they do have a pretty massive female fan base, and talked about a lot of their female-led titles right now, or at least female-targeted titles, which I think started a lot with Young Avengers, and then when Marvel Now, which is sort of this new wave that they're doing, because comics are always relaunching in one form or another. And as part of Marvel Now, there are a ton of female-led titles that are really female reader-friendly, like She-Hulk and Elektra and Black Widow. There's so many. Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, they're incredible. And the Loki series, which is so close to a legitimate comic / fan fiction, it's just great. The whole comic opens with Loki naked in the shower singing along to Wicked, so it's perfect. So we talked a lot about that, and how much of an audience there is to be gained from actually acknowledging that there are so many women out there buying and reading comics and supporting the industry. Noelle is one of the writers of Lumberjanes, which is 2 issues deep now from Kaboom, the self-published, or not self-published, but creator-owned imprint from Boom Studios. And Lumberjanes is about 5 best friends at summer camp fighting monsters, and they're all girls, and it's created. It's an all-female creative team, right down to the letterers, which I think is huge in the industry. There's not a lot of people doing that. Comics like Pretty Deadly, where most of the creative team is female, with Kelly Sue DeConnick and Jordi Belair and Emma Rios. But Lumberjanes is, it's a lady fiesta. There's so much estrogen, and I love it. So the panel talked a lot about that and about how much there is to be gained from really just going for it, and how you will, men will find that audience too, even if you have female characters, because, for our entire lives as women, we've had to identify with male characters because there are so many more out there, and thinking less of your audience by thinking that men aren't going to read a comic about women is sort of condescending. So we talked about all those things, and that was really cool. I did a panel about Adventure Time, which was really awesome, and got to be with a bunch of creators, Jesse Moynihan and Michael DeForge, Ryan North, and Becky and Frank, who are incredible writer-painter team. So that was really neat. A ton of kids asked us questions about our favorite and least favorite characters, and people really did not like that my least favorite character was Lemon Grab, because I started loving him so much. I just hate what he's become. He's a monster. Although favorite characters are still Marceline and Prismo. If you're reading this and this is deep Adventure Time love. So that was a festival, and that was my crazy weekend. And now I'm sort of back to the day job for a couple of days before I go to the East Coast Comic Expo. Although by the time you're listening to this, that will probably be long over, and hopefully I'm still alive. We can only hope. Today at work, which will not be today anymore, I got a box from Laika, which is an animation studio that produced and created Coraline and Paranorman, which are 2 of my favorite movies, 2 stop-motion films. And I was a big fan, and I had been in contact with them a little bit, just simply in admiration of their projects. And they sent me a box of, like, a little press kit of props from the Boxtrolls, which is their next movie that's coming out in late September, right close to my birthday. I'm very excited about it. About kind of an underground city of troll people, and everything they sort of wear is made of boxes and cardboard. And the film is very, designed in that style of a world made of kind of construction paper and cardboard. And it looks absolutely beautiful. So I got a manhole cover that's, an actual piece of the film set. And they wrote me a wonderful letter. And it was just the coolest piece of viral marketing that I had ever seen, and I'm very excited about it. They did this whole cover with my name on it and this awesome Wonder Woman with bat wings. So good on you, Boxtrolls. I'm going to go see your movie 50 times. And if you're listening, you should go see it 50 times so they send me some more cool stuff. Other small updates. I've written 2 issues for the upcoming arc of Bravest Warriors, which I've taken over writing duties on from, there were, some of the show creators, including Brian Burns, were working on the series for a couple issues. And then before that, it was the originally Halifax creative team of Joey Camo and Mike Holmes, which is really awesome. So it's a big deal and a little bit scary. It's my first ongoing series, my first sort of indefinite, just keep writing these always job, which makes me feel like throwing up, but I'm very excited about it. Ian is drawing the first one right now, and he's been texting me with updates of various different cat bugs, so that's really great. Aside from that, tomorrow night I am going to go see Godzilla. It may already be out by the time you're listening to this. I'm going to tell you right now, it was great. I don't even know yet, but I know it has a giant monster in it. And look, maybe I would have said that about the Matthew Broderick movie, and in which case you could go back in time and slap me and tell me I was so wrong. But I have high hopes for this Godzilla, mostly because the trailer exclusively consists of things being burnt and Bryan Cranston screaming, which are personal fetishes of mine. So that's what's going on. All right, this is what I'm reading these days. I talked a little bit about Lumberjanes, or excessively about Lumberjanes, but it's a project that a lot of my friends are a part of and created by a lot of people I really like. It's sort of co-created by my friends Grace and Shannon. Grace is a contributor to the lesbian news website Autostraddle, which is amazing. And Shannon is the editor of Adventure Time and Regular Show and a lot of other Kaboom properties. And they kind of came up with this idea together a while back and then brought on Noelle Stevenson to co-write with Grace and Brooke Allen, who's drawing it. And she is incredible. It was also very recently her birthday. So happy birthday, Brooke. You're beautiful and dapper. So Lumberjanes is, about 5 friends at summer camp fighting monsters, and the second issue's out now, and it is absolutely adorable and sweet and touches on some, I think, really important things that are not always addressed in all ages comics. I don't want to spoil it for you, but some ladies kind of smooch a little bit, and they're kids, and it's not weird, which is a really big deal for me, and I think it might be a really big deal for a lot of people reading the comics, so I'm very excited about that. Bee and Puppy Cat just started, which is based off of a cartoon hangover series created by Natasha Allegri, and it is absolutely adorable and perfect and wonderful. So, fitting into that category that I love so much of warrior princesses, it's kind of about a girl and her magical puppy cat going on adventures through time and space and romance. So I would check that out if you can. The 5th issue of Afterlife with Archie just came out after a very long delay, and it's great. It's Archie with zombies, and if you're not reading this series, you're a fool on so many levels, and I'm sorry to tell you that, but your mother should have when you were young. It's a great series. It's just about, what if the zombie apocalypse came to Riverdale, and it's drawn by Francesco Francavilla, who's one of my favorite artists and an incredible human being, and the owner of one of the best accents in the industry, so Francesco rules. You should check it out if you like the idea of various characters from Archie being eaten alive, which, why wouldn't you? The second issue of Shudder has just come out, Joe Keating, I think, and Lila DeLuca. I hope I'm not saying her name wrong because I'm saying it from memory. Sorry. But it is a really cool series that I don't fully understand yet, but I want to. And the main character's name is Kate, so that doesn't hurt. But it's about a girl and her father were adventurers. Her father's died. Someone's coming for her, and she kind of has to pull herself together. It looks like some weird, crazy, intergalactic stuff going on. So definitely check that out. It's a very interesting series. I'm pretty sure that one's from Image. And that's kind of, where I'm at for ongoing series. I'm reading a lot of stuff right now. I'm reading a lot of the Lady Marvel titles. I'm crazy about Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. So those have been really great. And you should pick them all up, especially She-Hulk. The art in She-Hulk is absurdly good. it offends me how good it is. There are a lot of books that I saw at TCAF and in my comic shop recently that I want to check out, and when I have the time, I'm going to devour them. So maybe never, but hopefully soon. There's a book by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki called This One Summer, which has, you look at it and the feel of it is, you kind of remember those weird moments you sort of blocked out from your childhood summers, like afternoons of just doing absolutely nothing, or like the weird, quiet things that happen in small towns. And it captures it so well that it's kind of haunting, and you get really sucked into it even after just a couple of pages. So I'm really, really excited to dig into that, because I love books that give you that kind of a feeling, where you're like, oh, I didn't even remember what that was like. And to get that from a comic is really wonderful. So definitely check that out. It was a big deal at TCAF, even though I couldn't find their table. I was so mad. Andre the Giant from Box Brown has just come out, which is kind of an not autobiographical. I know what words mean. A biographical comic about Andre the Giant by Box Brown, who is a really awesome creator with Retrofit and a bunch of his own projects. And this book looks really, really good. It's sweet and interesting, and apparently, it's a loving biography without, being overly sentimental or anything. And so I'm really into that. Becky Cloonan has just put out a collection called By Chance and Providence, which is all 3 of her mini comics, several or perhaps all of which have been Eisner nominated. There's one called Demeter, one called The Mire, and one called Wolves. And it's Becky's weird, haunted brush pen madness, and that's just got collected, so highly recommend. A couple of books that are $10 that you should check out are Sex Criminals Volume 1 and Pretty Deadly Volume 1, both from Image. Sex Criminals is an incredible story that I cannot stop pimping about a couple who, when they have sex, stop time, which is the simplified, like, children are in the store version of it. Not so. Specifically, they have to orgasm, and it's originally about the girl in it, Susie, and her sort of coming of age sexually, and how she discovers that when she orgasms, she can stop time, and then her whole world gets thrown into chaos when she meets someone else who has the same ability. And of course, the natural implication is we should rob banks to save a library, which is what happens, and it's great. So you can get 10 issues of that for $10, including a radio play that Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky, the creative team, did about Chip calling a phone sex line and getting Matt, and it's so great. So I checked that out. Pretty Deadly is a horror western, which I mentioned before. Kelly Sue DeConnick, one of my favorite writers and an awesome friend, and Emma Rios is drawing it, and Jordi Belair is coloring it, and she's an amazing colorist who got nominated for an Eisner this year, which I'm very excited about. Which is, so it's got a lot of occult flavor to it. There's this idea of the daughter of death going on the hunt for revenge, and it's beautiful and haunting and very strange and kind of a slow to unfold dark fable. So, for $10 you really can't go wrong. 2 books I just finished that have come out a while ago that I finally got around to were Hellboy: The Midnight Circus, which is a self-contained story about young Hellboy that I'm pretty sure Duncan Fagredo was doing the art on that one. But, you don't really need to know anything about Hellboy. If you've briefly seen the movie even, it's amazing. And it's kind of about, young Hellboy getting trapped in this dark magic circus. And depending on whether he's in the real world of, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, or in this circus, it's drawn either in that sort of classic Mignola, hard shadow style, or when he's in the circus, it's very ethereal and watercolor, and it's really, really beautiful. The Fifth Beatle is a story about Brian Epstein and the Beatles, but mostly about Brian Epstein kind of building the Beatles' career and launching them into fame. And it's really interesting because it's something that I didn't know very much about. I mean, I'm sure if you're a music nerd, it's something that you're like, oh yeah, that's totally old hat. But it was kind of an eye-opener for me. His life was super tragic. He died very young. He was gay and incredibly closeted and very self-hateful about it, but incredibly successful and built the Beatles. So this book is, the art in it is absurd. It's so good. I say that a lot. I get really overwhelmed by art, but no, it's a really great collection and a really great self-contained story. So definitely check that out. All of these books are wonderful. Support your local comic shop. Amazon will kill us all. So I have a number of questions that I've posed to my mildly considerable Twitter audience. And I'm going to start with a friend of mine and a writer that I really like named Paul Tobin, who works a lot with his partner Colleen Coover. And he asked me, what are your main influences outside of comics? Which is great because I'm often asked what I read, but not always what I watch and listen to. I'm a big fan. I'm a big, music fan in general, and I really like painfully honest lady singers. So I listen to a lot of. I used to be really into the Dresden Dolls. I also really like the Mountain Goats, which is not a lady singer, but we'll give it to John Darnielle. And I'm a big TV watcher and movie fan. I guess people who are into geek culture are consumers by nature. So I watch a lot of TV. I'm really into Orphan Black right now. But I grew up on Buffy, and I was a big fan of, strong ass-kicking ladies from that age. And that's kind of what got me into reading. Buffy was what got me into a comic shop in the first place. So I would definitely say things like that, warrior princesses. Just warrior princesses. Xena is definitely one of them. Sailor Moon. So redefined, my answer is warrior princesses. All right, I have a question from Zachary Fenton, who's at Snakehoof. How has your newfound comic fame affected your job working at a comic shop? Primarily that I barely work at the comic shop anymore. It's been an ongoing struggle because I got into comics through working at my store, Strange Adventures, and my boss basically kicking my butt to put my stuff on the internet and put myself out there. And the unfortunate consequence because of that is that now I have no time. I travel to comic conventions about every other week at this point, or at least once a month. And I'm writing so many series that it doesn't allow for as much time to actually be at the store. But I do like it. And I think the number one advantage to it is on the weekends now when people bring their kids in, I can be like, oh, hey, do you like Adventure Time? And kids get very excited. I'm like, yeah, I love Adventure Time. I'm like, oh, yeah, do you like Marceline? And I go, yeah, I wrote this book. Which kids, get the look on their eyes like they've just seen some sort of religious epiphany. It's very self-serving, but I like it a lot. So that's been a lot of fun. And it's as strange and it's a very different environment because I'm in retail. So 99% of the people who walk through the door have no idea who I am or what I do outside of the store. So I think it keeps me humble, which I think there's a lot of value in. So yeah, it's been a transition period, but it's going all right. All right, I have a question from Joshua Daniel, who is at The Noir Guy, who says, what's one thing you'd like to see more of in comics and one thing you'd like to see less? More costumes that cover boobs and less boobs, which is terrible because, as a personal fan of boobs, I feel like maybe that's discriminatory, but I'm really enjoying the trend, especially I've seen it a lot in Marvel Comics of, redesigns of costumes to be a lot more empowering and a lot more realistic and a lot less of Starfire's everything, everywhere, which makes me sound very prudish because I like a good nudity, but not always in an all-ages comic. So moving more towards that and getting a little more creative and a little more realistic with how a woman would actually dress if she were a superpowered crime fighter or a superpowered villain, really. And embracing the fact that, if you were She-Hulk, you were super ripped and really hot despite being green. I mean, you would want to show it off. I would want to show it off. But at the same time, you can't climb a building in heels. There's just no way. It's absurd. Nobody can do it. And it makes me sad to see it in movies. So yeah, I would say embracing how people actually dress and how fabric works. Logan Dalton, who is at Sexy Ginger Nerd. That's very, you think so. Wants to know, what are your favorite webcomics? I got into comics, through Buffy, like I said, but also through webcomics. I was a really big fan when I was in junior high, which my friends in webcomics hate hearing me say because it makes them feel old. But I got into the Dumbrella family of comics, which is now Topatoco, when I was in junior high, and I was reading dinosaur comics, and I was reading A Softer World, and When I Grow Up, which became Wigoo, and a lot of comics in that family, you know. And I got into Kate Beaton's comics when she got started on LiveJournal, and got into Jess Fink's comics that way. So those are the classics, and those are the ones that I've always read. And I've recently started to get into some of the ones that have been going for a really long time, which is daunting because the archives are so massive. But I've, just started reading Girls with Slingshots, which has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages and questionable content. I've become friends with Jeff Jacks recently, and once I become friends with someone in comics, I really feel like I should at least have a base knowledge of what they base their entire lives around. So I think I should check it out. So I've been doing that. But I read a lot of Tumblr comics. So a lot of those are one-offs or a smaller story or a particular just issue that's put up online. And not always through Tumblr, but sometimes utilizing different platforms or layouts. Like Emily Carroll does a lot of her posts online, and she's done a bunch of really terrifying, beautiful comics. She's one of the only people that I read on a regular basis who does horror, and she does it so well. So she'll post, it's a webcomic because it's on the internet, but she'll post one every couple of months or, once a year or something. And they're always amazing. And Ryan Andrews is similar. He has one called Sarah and the Seed that is amazing and completely beautiful. So while it's not a webcomic in the sense that it updates every day, it is something that was first put out online, and I'm a big fan of those. My friend does one called Princess. I can never remember her real last name, but she goes by strangely Katie, and it's about lesbian princesses, which is one of my favorite genres of media. So so I really like that. I'm exposed to a lot of different artists on Tumblr, and through Pinterest and Twitter even, you find people post things and they make their way around, and I found some of my favorite artists that way. So that is my not short answer.
Hey you! Strange Adventures Comics and Curiosities has the widest and wisest selection of comics and graphic novels in Atlantic Canada. Toys, games, and collectibles of all kinds at this award-breaking store. With 3 locations to confuse you better: in Fredericton, Dartmouth, and Halifax. Neat, right? Check out the website at strangeadventures.com. Strange Adventures, proud sponsor of Less Than Live with Kate or Die.
Okay, so we are here with Ian McGinty for the inaugural interview on Less Than Live. Ian is the artist on Bravest Warriors with me. So in a daring act of nepotism, I have him on here for my first show. He's the artist on that series. He also did Adventure Time at Candy Capers, which is amazing and a ton of fun. He does a lot of stuff for Viz Media. I know he works with Ugly Dolls. What else do you do, Ian?
Oh my gosh. What don't I do really at this point?
Tell me.
I'm working on this little book, kind of obscure. It's called Bravest Warriors.
I've heard of that. I heard it sucks.
It's with this writer, Kate Leth. She's all right.
She's all right. Yeah.
She's okay. Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, gosh. Man.
And we just finished our first issue.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
It's a celebration right now.
Mm-hmm. This is it.
It's amazing. It was amazing. It's a really good issue. Damn. Yeah, it was amazing. It was creepy.
It's so creepy. It's just
but I like that though. I really like that though. Like that was cool. Like I haven't seen I actually before we started doing this stuff, I was reading Bravest. I was reading like Mike Holmes' run on it and Joey Kumo. Am I saying that right? Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
And and it was awesome, but I never really saw a weird horror take on it, which is kind of what we did with this first issue, and it was really rad. So
yeah, and the whole first arc is it's a horror story basically, and it's just I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just gonna get creepier and creepier. And when I pitched that, I didn't know how they were gonna feel about it, and then I'm like, wait, no, all of Joey's stuff was weird as hell, so I'm sure they'll be fine with it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is when because I did Candy Capers, for Boom, and which was an Adventure Time, like a detective noir Adventure Time spinoff kind of. Well, kind of it was, and that was awesome. And then they offered me to take over the Bravest Warriors thing. It was just super crazy daunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
it was
exactly
just
what you
like,
mean.
yeah, right, exactly. And just drawing and all that stuff. But then I'm like, as I said, I was already a fan. I'm reading. I'm like, this is perfect. Like this is so because you can literally do like anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I love about it so much, too, because when we started on it, I went through and kind of watched all the episodes, and I was a lot more familiar with Adventure Time. Even though I'd been reading the comics, I had seen a few episodes, so I had to kind of go back and do all the research, and I was like, oh, thank God that this is as weird and giant a world.
Yeah, so like it's something that I like at least for me, like not and what's cool is that we've sort of been like collaborating a little bit on like stuff that to maybe bring up in the future has been really nice, which I haven't really done that with a writer before, so that's been pretty rad.
It's the best.
But it's like it like I don't know, weirdly, like I don't know how they drew my name out of it, but it like weirdly encapsulates like all of my humor, like the stuff that I think is funny, which is just bizarre, dark stuff that like I think you're like maybe the only other person I've ever met who's ever thought the stuff that I said was funny. So
That sounds terrible, but the stuff you say is amazing.
it's like it's true though. It's so weird. So it's just like, oh my God, like it's so cool to be working on this kind of thing right now.
Well, it's super fun too. Like it's such a weird thing that when I was at TCAF, we were out for breakfast one day, and these friends of ours, the McHenrys, were who did this video game called Horsemaster, which I really need to play. It's literally about, and he wouldn't tell me anything about it other than like, no, it's a game about mastering a horse. And so I've never played it, and it's just been looming in the back of my mind for weeks, and I keep forgetting to Google it. Anyway,
is it like Goat Simulator? Or is it
I don't know. I know it's like an 8-bit game, but apparently there are myriad different endings, and some of them are very traumatic.
Yeah, so it's like very intense, like mastering of the horse.
Yeah, well, you can master it in different. Well, what I asked about it, I was like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Well, it depends on what horse mastery means to you."
Okay, yeah. It sounds awesome. I'm already like in. Okay.
Okay, so we were out for breakfast, and they were telling these jokes, and they're a couple, and they are so funny. And it was the first time I had met them because they work with Topatoco, and like every other thing they said, I'd like bring up my phone, and I had this. By the end of breakfast, I had a folder that was like Bravest Warriors jokes stolen from the McHenrys because they're so weird, right? And that's perfect. So
well, that's like how it was. That was how it was for us too. Though it was just like hanging out and being like, hey, here's this stupid joke that only you and I are laughing at, and everybody else is like, you guys are idiots.
But that's what makes it better, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if we're having fun.
Yeah, Box of Hornets.
Box of Hornets.
Box of Hornets, man. Watch out. See, like nobody's gonna get that at all until later. So just hang on later, and then buy the issues, and then you'll understand what is so funny to us and not funny to anybody else.
I made a spot for you to put a Box of Hornets in 23.
It's going to be amazing.
If you feel like it. No spoilers.
If it was up to me, every panel would just be a Box of Hornets. So.
Should I explain the backstory on that, or should we just let it go?
Well, hey, we can. There is not really a backstory.
No.
I don't know what. We were talking about some stupid shit, and we laughed.
Yeah, we were at breakfast.
There's the backstory, yeah.
And I laughed so hard that I was legitimately embarrassed because it was the first weekend meeting you guys.
No, what's funny is that we were like, so we're at, where the hell were we?
Cora's.
Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm in Calgary. I'm sure to you it was a little more localized, but.
Yeah, Canada's all one city.
Yeah, what was that restaurant? What was that? It was like Canadian Denny's. Basically.
Yeah, it was Cora's.
Okay. See, that means nothing to me. I was like, oh,
fine. We were at Canadian Denny's.
Canadian Denny's.
Go on, Ian.
We were at CD's, and we were having who were we with? We were with Zach Sterling, who drew Seeing Red, right?
Yep.
Amazing guy.
He's amazing.
Amazing guy. He looks good with glasses.
Looks good all the time. Just got great hair.
Good all the time. Yeah, good looking guy.
You and Zach have the hair game down.
Yeah, he's got me beat though, because like his hair is like black and mine's just like kind of.
I don't know, but you got that perfect faux hawk thing going on.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of that though, man. I'm starting to look like a Bravest Warriors character.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was
yeah.
So it was us and Zach and Brooke
and Brooke, who is drawing Lumberjanes right now, which is also amazing. Now I know there's a funny story with Lumberjanes with you too.
Yeah.
As well. Now what I'm trying to remember what that was. Did you have anything to do with that at all, or was it you just made like some pins and?
Oh yeah, no, I did the variant cover for Emerald City Comic Con, and I designed the badges that the Lumberjanes earn as it goes through the series.
I remember laughing because I think it was Emerald City we were there, and like your name was attached to like Lumberjanes, and you were like pulled someone aside. Yeah, it just did some.
Well, it was because we got to Calgary, and the sign on my table was like Kate Leth, and it was like Bravest Warriors, Lumberjanes. And I was like, Bravest Warriors isn't out for 3 months. And all I did for Lumberjanes was design the patches. And like nowhere on it was it like, this graphic novel we're promoting.
Yeah, just been like Kate Leth patch maker.
Kate Leth drew a button.
That's worth the $800 airplane flight.
Yeah, that's what they got me up there for, just to sign that little thing that says camp.
Yeah, Jesus. All right. Well, anyway, so we're at CDs, we're at Canadian Days, and we're with you, me, Zach, and Brooke.
Yep.
And I don't know how
the crew.
Man, I don't know how, but it's so like somehow it came up. We were like, the funniest thing to do at a convention would be to. I'm laughing now. Like, I know. I'm laughing right now. The funniest thing to do would be to release a box of Hornets in the middle of a convention. Which to us sounded so normal at the time. I think we were like serious about it for a second, then we started thinking about it. And what's funny though is that this joke has like evolved to the point where like Grace Ellis, who's writing Lumberjanes, is like writing a box of Hornet jokes like into Lumberjanes at some point and all this stuff. So it's so weird. And, like Zach will text me from time to time about it, and
I'm trying to get him to put one in the next graphic novel. Like, it's not in the script, but I'm just like, yo, the scene where they're, like, going through a forest, I'm pretty sure there could be a box of Hornets in the background.
Yeah, no, I
just stick one in there.
Make that, somehow, like, worm that into every issue, every comic ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's different things, right? Like, I have, I've had 2 of my friends work Flappy Bird into a comic just because I thought it was funny. And Ryan North and I both try and work lyrics from Natalie Imbriglia's Torn into whatever we do.
I think I've seen him do something like that. I don't know what it was from, but I think I've seen him like work in weird stuff. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That makes sense that you were involved in that.
Mm-hmm. I'm really into putting inside jokes in a massively widely produced comics that no one's going to understand or appreciate.
Well, you threw a clone hide joke into the first issue of Bravest Warriors. I noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool. I was like, nobody's going to get this except for like the hardcore fans of Clone High from back in the day.
I think it's in code, too.
There's several. There's that. Yeah. There's a code one, and then there's the water tower one.
Yeah. The code one is like, first of all, you have to be reading the alt text at the bottom, which, I mean, probably 5% of people reading the comic do. Then you have to have the interest and then the willpower to go and decode the alt text. And then
so you're making people work for it.
And then when you get to the end of it, you get a reference to a show you probably have never seen.
Yeah, that makes, I know, like, God.
That's how I write.
I feel old when I'm like, yeah, I totally got that Clone High joke, man. Like,
this is how I'm going to get an Eisner.
Like, when MTV was not, like, what it is now. Yeah.
Isn't Clone High the best, though?
It is the best. It's the best thing ever. It's the best show ever. It's the best animated show ever made. I stand by this.
And we work on Bravest Warriors, so. Next to Bravest Warriors, right, Ian?
Hey. It's going to be good.
It's going to be great. Ian and I, our bonding experience at Calgary was like leaving the after party to watch several episodes of Clone High. And then be like, all right.
Like, everybody wanted to go out and do like cool stuff. And we were like, nah, we're going to go upstairs and like watch some Clone High on the laptop. And...
Yeah. It was perfect because we watched like 2 episodes and I was like, all right, I'm tired now.
Yeah.
And then it was over.
Well, it's funny because like, I don't know. So we had the Calgary event. Like Kate and I actually like, we haven't hung out a ton, but when we've been hanging out, it's always really fun. So it's a good time. But
it's because you avoided me at Emerald City.
Well, that's what I was getting to.
You coming around to that story?
Yeah, it's like, dude, look, man, it's called storytelling. Like, right. Get to know it, okay? Like,
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, maybe you can learn to write. I don't know. So Emerald City. So here's the thing. Like, so the first time we met was at Emerald City Comic Con, which was it, when was that? I don't even remember.
Emerald City was
couple months ago.
God, we travel too much.
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm barely registering that I'm home right now.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago, but it was fun. First, Emerald City was like one of the best conventions I've been to.
It's amazing.
Everybody in Seattle is really cool, and I'd never been there before.
That was a great show.
Like every other person is like offering for you to like come back and hang out at their house or like go to a bar with like it was like every other person, and it was awesome. But
it's the best karaoke I've ever done.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. That was a good time. Terrible karaoke place, but good karaoke in general. But so we're there, and I'm like I do my thing, which is like when I'm at a convention that I don't really know a lot of people, I just sort of try to like act aloof and then like buy people out of drinks and sort of just people watch or whatever. And I remember so we're at this fucking like it was Oni Press's like after party thing or something.
Yeah, well that was like the first night, the one in the hotel.
Whatever it was. So it was insane. Like there was a ton of people, and then I want to say Allison, who draws the regular show series right now, like brought you up and was like, Ian, this is Kate, and I was like, okay, there she is. Like I had no. So like long story short, basically like nobody had told me that you were the one writing the series that I was going to be drawing.
Because we'd only found out a couple weeks before, like that we were both on it.
It was super, and someone had mentioned someone named Kate, but there's like a million Kates, so I was just like,
there's a million Kates in comics, so it could be anybody.
For sure.
There's only one Ian, which must be useful.
There's a Brad McGinty though. That's kind of
oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, and like we're not related at all, and it's really freaky. I tweeted him one time, was like, "Hey, are we related?" And he was like, "Nope." Okay. That was like the one. That was the one interaction I ever had with that.
That bromance got shot down. All right.
Yeah, nothing happened with that one at all. I tried. Okay. So nobody like told me it was Kate, Leth, Kate Leth, who was.
Say my name on. Gross.
And so I'm like, so Allison's like, so I don't know what I thought. I was just like, oh, all right, well, hey, what's up? Well, see ya. So like I feel terrible about this thing. It's basically like the entire convention I like avoided, and you kept trying to be like, hey, we should maybe like go do something. We should like grab a drink. We should go do this. We should go do that. And I'm like, I don't know if I've got time for that right now. Blah blah blah. So yeah, and it was funny.
It was great because I was just trying to be like, hey, we're working on this project together, but like quietly because it wasn't announced anywhere yet.
Yeah, and I'm like the worst. I'm like so stupid. Like it's not even funny how dumb I am. Like a tip to like if your IQ is very low, like get into comics and start and be an artist because you can really like go places if you're a dumb fucking idiot. But anyways, so then like 2 weeks later, I'm like. I don't know. I don't even remember who the hell I was talking to, but they're just like, so what'd you think of Kate? And I was like, Kate? Kate Leth. She's writing the Bravest Warrior series. I just like lost it. And that was, so I'm like, wait, are you serious? Like this girl who I was totally like treated like shit the entire time.
Yeah, because you thought I was trying to like pick you up.
I had no clue what was going on. Because one, that was surprising in of itself. I was like, whoa, this like never happens. What's up? And then on the other hand, I'm like, all right, well, see you later. Like, bye. So,
which is great because I was literally trying to just be like, hey, I'm really nervous about this. Do you want to like hang out?
Like, hey, let's actually talk about like some professional shit that's going on, all this stuff. So then like that preceded a 2-hour texting marathon of me apologizing 1,000 times.
It was fun.
Like, sorry for being a dick.
It was so funny. And it was great because then I could just rub it in your face for all of Calgary.
It was funny. It's funny now. At the time, though, I was super pissed because, like, every other person who was with us, like, at the convention never said shit to me. They never said one word to me. And then 2 weeks later, they're, like, literally laughing in my face. Like, dude, even I knew that she was doing that. Like, how did you not know? Just like, I'm just stupid, man. Shut up. So.
And it's so great because I came away from it and I was like, man, I kept trying to talk to him and just be like, hi. And like, he just didn't want to talk to me. And I'm really worried about this comic because like, what if he doesn't like me and we're working on it together and everything I write, he's like, that's bullshit. I'm just going to draw a plum and a bikini in every panel.
Yeah, a beach ball. There's a beach ball in every single panel, no matter what. Or a horse fucking a car or whatever. whatever that was, whatever the worst. What is,
A horse making love to a car.
A horse making love to.
If you want to get graphic with it, it's a horse fucking a car.
So,
but I thought of it in a more romantic sense.
That's an HFC. I don't know.
This is what happened with Box of Hornets.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is like terrible. This is why like we're a good team though. There's nothing like we're gonna completely alienate ourselves.
It's gonna be great. There's gonna be like 17 people reading this series.
It's just gonna be all inside jokes.
Just all inside jokes and references to Clone High.
Yeah, it'll be like a panel of like Wallow like looking at a beach ball, and then the next panel will be like just bugs coming out of
Plum recording a spaghetti eating video.
Yeah, just like some weird thing.
No, it's been great. It's been awesome, and I get so giddy and show off all your pages to my friends, which I'm totally not supposed to do, but you know.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Like, it's so unfair to put it. Well, it's so unfair to put together a team of a writer and artist, which is totally not true at all. But because I can't you can show off artists like pages, but I can't like show off to people like, oh, she's an awesome writer. Like, check out this script.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, everybody's like, dude, I don't care about this. Like,
no, it's really funny because I finish an issue and I'm just like, oh, I should send this to somebody, and I'm like, nobody wants that. Nobody ever in the history of time wants the email that's, do you want to read my script? That's the worst. That's the worst.
That's what I think about it. I think about it all the time. Like, I used to, before I like realized I could kind of draw, I was like, man, maybe I want to be an editor, because I just wanted to do like something in comics.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know, like I like to write stuff, but like I don't know, to me it's just not like as satisfying as drawing or whatever. I used to want to be an editor, and then I literally was like, dude, I better learn how to draw, because I do not want to read people's bullshit scripts like even whatsoever.
I don't know how people do it. I don't know. I mean, so
I read
boring.
your scripts. They're all right.
All right. Yeah, it's cool. Your drawings are all right. No, they're great. It's so exciting. It's so much fun to look at. It's such a different look than Candy Capers too, because it's like way more on model, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, Candy Capers was like a huge learning. It was like the first real like comic I drew. You know what I mean? Because like I'd done the stuff for Viz. I've been doing the Hello Kitty books, and then David Horvath's Ugly Doll books. And they're great. Like, I really like how those came out, but they're more so they're like graphic novels. Like, they don't come out, they're not daily. They're not daily. They're not like monthly issues.
Yeah.
And
they're so cute.
But Candy Capers, like it's Hello Kitty is like super cute, and the Ugly Doll stuff is really cute too. And I like them both. The Ugly Doll stuff's over, and I've got one more Hello Kitty to do. I'm gonna be so bummed out when that's over though, because they're so fun.
They are really fun.
They're super fun, but so Candy Capers was like the first monthly, and it was just such a crazy learning experience. Thankfully, like, it's weird how the stars align, man. Like, it's weird how you do a series and you're kind of learning and this and that. And thankfully, like, Boom was cool enough to like let me pretty much do whatever I wanted, like style wise. You know what I mean? I had one edit that entire series, like a 6-issue series. I had one edit. And that was to change some skulls into like bottles of water or something crazy. Like, I don't even remember what it was. Like, it was skulls into flasks or something.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. So like, from doing Candy Capers, like, I sort of learned like how to do monthlies, how to make sure you're on time, like make blah blah blah, this and that, whatever. How to like speed up the process, because it's kind of all about like getting stuff done on time. And then it was just cool how like the stars aligned, and like boom, like Bravest Warriors opportunity right there, like right when I'm actually feeling like fairly comfortable with like my art style and stuff like that. So it was a good thing.
I love the way you draw Catbug. Love
it. Catbug is amazing, and I love drawing Catbug. I can't help it.
It's so great. Every time I look at it, it's just like
I don't like drawing Impossible.
Well, lucky for you, Impossible is not in the first arc at all.
I just so future reference. If you include them, just like do shots of like close up face, or something.
Okay,
or like a hand.
Impossible is a character that I watched the show, and it's the characters that sort of stick with you that you're like, okay, I want to write them. Where like Plum has always been my favorite character since Joey introduced her in the comic.
Oh my god, Plum is so amazing.
It was the best move because he did it to gender balance the cast a little better, which is obviously super important to me. I like writing ladies. There's no they know that. I know, it's weird. You'd never expect it. I know. Ugh. Nice. Anyway, so I really wanted to do that, and I love, and there were characters I wanted to explore a little bit more and have be, it's a little different. Our Bravest Warriors is different than the show, because they sort of exist.
But it's so great, like, I don't know, like, the new run, again, and, like, it's funny how it's the comic series, at least, it seems like it's kind of taken this different turn, almost, like I said, with the whole, like, horror element and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's really cool. Like, there was this weird, I don't know, this is gonna sound really strange. There was this weird like Clerks vibe I had going on, like, while I was drawing it. Like, I know it sounds really strange, but it's like there's a lot of like really good back and forth like dialogue.
Oh, thanks.
Which was like a really cool thing, because there's like, for this first part, there's not like a ton of action. There is like towards the end, but like in the first part is sort of this cool thing with them like kind of interacting with each other. It's really neat to see like how you can pull out like all the different personalities of each single one.
Because I talk in their voices when I'm writing.
Yeah. I totally make the faces when I'm drawing, so it's fine.
I do too.
I do. I totally do this cat bug. I'll just have to show it to you at some point when there are no recording equipment around whatsoever. But yeah.
No, I'm gonna record that because that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, like the even cat bugs parts, which like we've talked about it before. Like we were talking about bringing cat bug out as like a little less of a just kind of a catchphrase machine,
mm-hmm.
and like more into an actual like instigator or plot point, or like just having some sort of, instead of just coming in every now and then and going like, but hey, what's up, like,
yeah,
here's this cute thing I say, which is great, but like thankfully in this first issue, like I feel like that it was actually like he was part of the plot, which is really nice to see.
I was trying to make it a lot more of an ensemble cast thing in our run, because I love what's going on in the show. That latest episode is bonkers. Mm-hmm. But
I legitimately love the show. Like,
oh, it's great. It's amazing. And I love the second season.
The second season's great. I love the first season too.
Yeah.
But I really love how like the second season is going. And it's so, I have to like remind myself every now and then, like, dude, I'm drawing the fucking comic series.
And like, I know, it's so crazy.
It's so weird.
It's so crazy. It feels like
so weird.
So intense to be working on that. It's so big. I'm like burping, sorry. I get so excited. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited.
No, but there's the action sort of picks up as it gets further on into the story, but I do kind of want to explore a bunch of different genres with it and have it be a very balanced cast. So where everybody kind of gets to do something interesting. And I do want to make Catbug a more interesting character and a more contributing character.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, like, Catbug is really well, and like I said, Catbug is like the Catbug is like the Steve Urkel Family Matters kind of character. Yeah. Like, he sort of doesn't really have a whole lot to do, and then he like kind of busts out and says like his catchphrase, and then you're like, all right, like, go away, Steve. And then, but with these, it's nice because like Catbug is an integral like sort of part of the actual story, and then the ideas we've talked about for the later stuff have been really cool. So I'm really excited about really integrating Catbug into some stuff. Mm-hmm. But then like Beth is like probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
And like Beth, I know you're saying like you love Plum, and I love Plum too, of course. But I don't know, there's something about Beth that really resonates to me. I get because she's like kind of she's like, I don't know. She sort of like, she embodies like the kind of girls that like I was into like in high school and stuff like that, and still am, like the kind of like tough exterior girls who are also like really smart,
Mm-hmm.
And which is always like really awesome to see, because it's funny, like you don't really see that a whole lot until like really recently. I've been seeing these new shows like Bravest Warriors, Adventure Time, like stuff with really, I feel like, I mean, I might not be the best judge of it, but like I feel like pretty cool like female characters in my mind.
Well, she's a lot different than Plum, where Plum is kind of a super outgoing, very bodacious character in every way. She fills a room, and Beth is a lot more internal about everything, but still like she has quiet funny and
which I really
tough.
And that's the kind of thing that I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like I was really into that sort of thing. So I really like. So point being is that like Beth is written really well, and Beth's character is put out there really well, and then Plum, and then it turns into like I really want to see. Then you want to see Plum and Beth's relationship, like how they interact with each other. Yeah, exactly.
I got plans.
Yeah, well, hey man, I'm like totally excited for all that stuff. So it's cool, and then and like it's funny because you look at this thing and it's weird. It's like Adventure Time has a huge cast of characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's but it's still basically Finn and Jake.
Yeah.
Bravest Warriors is like really interesting to me because it's a like 5 plus 1 person team. Mm-hmm. Who are so that in of itself like brings in some really crazy qualities where you have to balance like all these different personalities and all these different actions and how this person would react and how this one would talk to this one and the back and forth, this and that, whatever. And it's cool. Like I'm always really impressed with like how good of a job Bravest Warriors done. Like have you ever watched one of the like behind the scenes things of like the voice actors and stuff like that?
No, I actually haven't. And
it's like
probably
amazing.
Terrible for me to say, but
it's amazing. It's so cool and it works so well because they're just like these normal dudes and they're just kind of doing their thing and they clearly love what they're doing, but it's really cool to like watch how they actually interact with each other like in real life as well.
Yeah.
Plus you got like a 5-year-old kid, who's voicing Catboy, which is always fun.
It's the best. I hope he never grows up.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna.
They're gonna be screwed if his voice drops.
Well, apparently they're recording like a ton of stuff now to like.
That's smart.
Inevitably happen. I mean, I guess they could just give him like, anti-growth hormone or something.
Because we were talking about that on the Adventure Time panel at the Toronto Comic Arts Festival, where I was on with Becky and Frank, who work on Bee and Puppy Cat and
nice.
And Baby Cakes, which you worked on, which was great.
Oh yeah, jeez, yeah.
And Jesse Moynihan and Michael the Forge, and I somehow got onto that, and Ryan North. And
wow. You know what I did last weekend? I cleaned the dish.
The weekend before that, you were at a show or a free comic book day.
Just washing a dish.
Just washing. Mm-hmm. You had a really wild weekend.
Just dish, by the way. Just dish.
So we were on this Adventure Time panel.
Sorry.
Shut the fuck up. We were on this Adventure Time panel for children, and one of the audience questions was like, it wasn't as much of a question as just like a thought, but was kind of like, okay, so Finn in the show is getting older, and that's not a thing that happens very often in cartoons, where things are dramatically affecting him. Stuff that happened at the very end and beginning, of the last season and the newest season are like, he's been severely affected, and that will change him forever down the line. And like Jake's had babies, and so there's been a progression of time, and the character is actually getting older, which a lot of cartoons don't do. It's a weekly reset, right? And Jesse, who works in the show, was like, well, yeah, we had to because the kid who's Finn is getting older. Like, it's literally why, And then it occurred to me, I was like, what happens to Catbug in like 5 years?
It's hard. It's a little different because, I mean, like, I personally, I like Bravest Warriors more than Adventure Time, but Bravest Warriors is like 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can pack a lot of weird into those 7 minutes too.
Yeah, so like
much fun.
I can definitely say, but like you can't deny that Adventure Time is like literally had this like cultural phenomenon. Like it's crazy. Like
it's huge.
It's insane. Like it's nuts.
It's Pokemon for a new generation. I mean,
But I do love that they're like all the best animated shows I've ever seen age in real time. Like Venture Brothers is the one that always comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like
it's happening on Steven Universe already.
That's amazing.
Like, stuff is evolving as it goes on, which is so cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, shout out to Coleman Engel and Jeremy Cerise for picking up the Steven Universe comic books, by the way, too.
Man, they're so beautiful. My friend Matt Cummings is doing some covers for them, and they are gorgeous.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, though. I say, like, shout out to those guys, but when I say shout out, I mean, like, when I see them, I'm going to kill them because I auditioned for that shit, too, and I didn't get it, so... They're dead to me.
Well, they didn't offer me any covers, so
yeah.
whatever.
No, they're amazing. And that and being Puppy Cat, it's just like everything's great right now.
Oh, it's so cool. Like, there's so many cool comics coming out right now. It's like,
it's the best.
It's crazy to me, man. It's nuts. Like,
it all comes back to Shannon Waters being a huge goddamn fan of dinosaur comics.
And
she built an empire.
Whitney, all these people, good lord.
They're amazing. I'm going to ask you for our last little bit because I promised we would talk about kaiju. How do you feel about the new Godzilla?
All right, so I got a lot to talk about with this.
Let's power through it.
Here's the thing, like, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I've been a Godzilla fan since I was like 3 years old, man. Like, I literally now have like every single Godzilla movie ever, like on VHS and DVD. I have a laser disc of Godzilla Raids Again, or whatever the hell it's called, like up in my attic at my house, like right now. Like, I've been a huge Godzilla fan, right? Mm-hmm. But like, but here's the thing: is that, like, you know, except for the 1954 Gojira, you know, obviously I'm butchering that or whatever. But like, I remember when I was in college, I actually did a major in double majored film and English, and like that was one of my papers I wrote on, was all about that movie, and like it really struck a chord with me. I was like, man, like it's so cool, and it kind of like reinstated how I was into it. But like Godzilla, like except for that film, has generally been like for children, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm one of the few. I'm in a huge minority here where I actually really enjoyed the 1998 American Godzilla.
Oh man.
I know. I'm like maybe I think there's like 4 of us in the entire world who are like, it wasn't
not
that
in your
bad.
club.
But here's the thing though, is that like, again, it kind of came down to it was for kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird to like see how this thing that to me as a kid, I loved it because it was just like dudes in rubber suits like fighting each other and this and that. And it's weird how like everything is getting like grittier and more realistic these days. Mm-hmm. Like everybody wants to take, and I think I think it's a mistake. Like not a mistake, but I just think it's something to really seriously think about a lot, is like that, like Nolan's Batman, for example.
Yeah.
It's like, it just got like there's 3 films and each just got grittier, and then up to the point where it was so gritty and dark, it was like almost funnier than like the goofy Tim Burton versions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I love so much about the Marvel movies is like, I mean, you watch like both the Thor movies are like ridiculous.
Oh, they're so like over the top, and I
so
think,
much
and
fun.
again, this is where like Marvel, I feel like, comes out on top over DC as far as their films go, is that they're like ridiculous. Like I've gone back, I've rewatched like Iron Man 2 like 10 times.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, I like it more and more because it's insane. It's like the craziest movie I've seen, and just so weird, and it's just so blah blah. And you know, and then alternately though, everybody goes, you know, Sam Raimi's Spider-Mans were ridiculous. Like they were like 2, you know.
I still love the first one.
I like the second one.
A lot of people like the second one. I wasn't as into Doc Ock as everybody else was.
I love Willem Dafoe, but I just could not get over the dialogue was so cheesy.
Oh, it's
weird.
Pretty bad. I don't think I've seen it since I was pretty young.
Spider-Man. Like, I can't even,
Peter Parker.
I can't even do it. But again, though, I liked it. They were fun. And they were a blast to see, and this and that. So Pacific Rim comes out.
Yeah.
Right? And to this,
tell me about it.
To me, man, I know. Like, yes. Tell me on the doll where he touched you. Like Pacific
on
Rim.
The kaiju.
Yeah, tell me on the kaiju where he kaiju'd you.
Should have said Jaeger. I fucked that up. Sorry.
It's fine. Whatever. This is So I had heard that so recap, back up. Huge Godzilla fan here. Always was a kid. Sort of lost interest in it like after a while because it just got weird after a while. Like I'm trying to remember. There was one of the newer ones that was supposed to be like the last one where it's like Godzilla literally goes around and like fights, not destroy all monsters. It's like another one, but he goes around and he actually fights like the '98 American Godzilla, who's now just called Zilla. He's not like actually Godzilla. And
he's lost his faith.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. Like, so the Toho, you know, the company was like, okay, that's it's Godzilla in name only, so it's actually Gino, so it's Gyno or Gino or however you want to say it.
Gyno?
So yeah, Gyno, Gino,
Really?
it's Godzilla.
Just keep saying it.
Only. Yeah. So they're like, all right, we're just gonna call this dude Zilla. So he's in some movie, and it's still like, and it was cool though because you're like, oh man, it's still just like dudes in suits, but like the technology got a little better in this and that. But at that point, I was definitely like, man, I'm ready to see like a big, not a guy in suit type thing. And so like Pacific Rim was, to me at the beginning, was like, all right, this is like the pill like getting ready for Godzilla, and I fucking love that movie. Like
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, yeah. I'm like the biggest fan of that movie. I legitimately love that movie, and because it hits that perfect point of like so over the top and ridiculous. They're like, what is going on? Like, what is this insane? What the hell? And then
when that sword comes out,
the sword, it's really like, oh, hey, we just happen to remember we had this huge sword. Which, by the way, they actually had 2 swords.
Oh, sorry.
So it's like, well, yeah, but it's we should use we've got 2 of these swords. Maybe we could have used
the entire time.
The entire time before we were carried up like over, into space and dropped from, a million feet.
Yeah.
But like the litmus test to me is that like, do I accept that? And with Pacific Rim, I was like, hell yeah, I accept that. Like, I don't care what happens. A robot hits a giant monkey-looking monster in the face with an ocean liner using it as a baseball bat. You know what I mean?
I forgot about that.
Like the fact that is even a sentence that like I can say that actually happened in real life and wasn't me like, with 105-degree fever like dying in bed. Is crazy to talk about that a movie actually did that.
It's not just your fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's not just like, oh, here's Sephiroth and Cloud or like, dude, you're like, oh no, it's legitimately that actually happened. That as somebody spent money, a team of animators animated a giant robot picking up an ocean liner, using this baseball bat, and hitting a gorilla-looking kaiju in the face.
And somebody was like, no, you really, like, the angle of the windows is off. Like, it really needs to explode outwards when it connects.
Change this, like, turn this a little bit, this and that, whatever.
Yeah, can we up the contrast?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, so this whole thing happens, and I'm like, man, Pacific Rim was awesome. Didn't do that well in the United States.
It seems insane to me, because I went to see it 3 times.
I saw it 3 times as well, actually. Wow, that's crazy.
All right.
Yeah,
so Bravest Warriors Arc 2 is just kaiju.
Yeah, that's fun. That's hilarious. It's funny because the last issue of Candy Capers is like has a kaiju thing. But anyway,
yeah, that's true.
It's cool though. It's cool to see like kaiju are becoming a thing again in the United States, or like in the North America, I guess, for you Canadians.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
I live in the Arctic.
Yeah, the Americas, Northers things.
You just call it North America.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. But anyways,
Upper South America.
So obviously I'm like super excited for Godzilla, right? For 2014 Godzilla. And I liked Monsters too. The movie the dude did before. I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh yeah. I didn't see that.
It was good. It was cool. It was like definitely. It's funny. So Jaws is my favorite movie of all time.
Good.
Right? No question. So it's really cool. Well, it used to be cool. Now it's kind of annoying. Where like Jaws is the ultimate like go-to point for show don't tell, basically. Like it used to be like Alfred Hitchcock. Now it's like when it's monster movies they go Jaws, and they're like, oh, so everybody said, oh, Godzilla is so great because they employed the Jaws thing where you do a lot of exposition and you show, you get the human characters and blah blah, and then you kind of only sort of show the monster from towards like the end and blah blah. So then it's really big, and I'm like, man, like that's a great sentiment, dude. But you're talking about a franchise that's 60 years old here.
Yeah.
You're talking about like we've seen every incarnation of Godzilla ever since 1954. Like, there are generations of people who have like had kids. Look, there are people who like were like probably made a baby watching Godzilla. Like that's how old it is. You know what
all
I mean?
I know is that all through my childhood, there was a photo on my fridge of an inflatable Godzilla wearing my mom's wedding veil.
Oh my God.
Which my mom, with like a very heavy heart and a stern like, I'm not disappointed in you, but told me the story of how I popped that inflatable Godzilla when we were at a cottage once, and she was just like, I love you, but that day,
terrible child,
you were dead to me.
Terrible child. Well, it's funny, like, it's weird. So yeah, so like, okay, so same thing. Like, Godzilla was a huge part of my childhood, right? So I went and saw the movie, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like, I liked it, but I liked it because it's Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, if it was something else, if they just called it, like, if it was just like, mean lizard, or whatever, like, I wouldn't have, I would have not liked it. But because it's Godzilla, I feel in my heart, yeah, it was pretty good. And then everybody always has to compare it to the 98 version, which I frankly thought was a little more like fun and lighthearted. Like, it's just hard for me to take Godzilla like super seriously. And then these Muto things, whatever the hell you want, whatever you want to call them, it's like it's like they took a Weber grill and then like combined it with the Cloverfield monster, and they were like, that's it, like that's what we want. We want the most alien looking weird stupid thing ever. And I didn't get it. So it's like, yeah, I like dug like the last 20 minutes. I'm glad kaiju stuff's coming back, but yeah, who knows? Like, it's currently on Rotten Tomatoes at like 73%. That's definitely like where exactly I would stick it in my head.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I don't think I'm as textbook hardcore a fan. I love Godzilla. My parents were massive Godzilla fans, and I grew up, we had Godzilla stuffed animals and stuff all over the house, and so I've seen all of the movies. I mean, my mom used to sing me the Mothra song to like try and get me to sleep when I was a baby, so my mom is the fucking coolest person.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It's really good, and she still does it all the time. She sent me a bunch of weird little like butterfly emojis the other day to say that she had seen it. Which was great. But
so she went and saw the movie.
Yeah, I know. My mom's.
Oh, well, what's she think?
My mom's a big nerd.
This is what I want to hear. I want to, like, what'd she think about it?
I haven't really. I think she was. I think it might like she was going to see it today. I haven't heard back.
Oh man, we need to follow up.
I know. Okay, next episode I'll tell you what my mom thought of Godzilla. She just do mom's movie reviews every time.
Mom's movie reviews.
But I'll have to read it out in emojis because she got really into emojis. So it'll be like, okay, mom thought lizard, butterfly, explosion, building, heart, happy face. I think she was into it.
Broken heart, box of bees.
Broken heart, B. That's weird. She sends me that all the time. No, but I thought it was all right. I mean, it's hard to talk about it without kind of like spoiling it. Right. But there's
that's like the thing. It's all right.
There's that French kiss in the battle. That
God, yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bird puking into a baby bird's mouth.
Yeah, is it too, I guess it's too soon.
It's maybe too soon, but like it was my first time being on a date with this guy, going to see this movie. Well, we had been on dates, but it was the first time going to a movie. And I cackled so fucking hard at that point in the movie. Like, I was shaking. It was like Box of Bees for me. I was losing my mind. I was so excited and giddy at that moment because it was so absurd. It's like hitting the monster in the face with the ocean liner.
But if that happened in Pacific Rim, I would be like totally accepting of it. Yeah. But the fact that it happened in Godzilla, which was taking itself so seriously, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, not in a good way. You're like, dude, what? Like, huh? Like, what the hell? What is this?
I think that's why I thought it was so funny, because it was just this one moment of just complete balls out absurdity.
I don't know. And that's like, and again, like, obviously I'm not saying anything original, but like, do I really need to watch like another like attractive young white lead dude go around and do nothing? Like, do I really need to watch like 2 fucking hours of this? Like,
I would have been way more happy if the 2 leads were Julia Binoche and Ken Watanabe. Like, way more interesting to me.
That was the thing about Godzilla too, man. And again, like, I'm not saying Pacific Rim is some like amazing feminist movie or whatever, but I was definitely way more interested in like.
But Mako was cool.
Mako was cool. I mean, she was the only female, pretty much, I think.
Yeah. Other than the Swedish lady, or the Russian lady. Sorry.
Oh, the Russian lady. Yeah. I mean,
but she doesn't talk.
She was like, but even then, she doesn't talk, and I was still like, wow, she's fucking awesome. Like, she's so cool. And then so cool. But then like Godzilla is like, you have the secretary chick who follows Ken Watanabe around and just sort of like agrees with what he says. Which, by the way, like, I don't know what the hell was going on in that movie where like they were totally underrepresenting like all the people I actually wanted to see, which was like Bryan Cranston and Ken.
Yeah. The most interesting actors you have.
Which I've heard in like the Japanese release, like Ken Watanabe has like way more scenes.
Well, I would like that. I would rather see that version because he's amazing.
But here's what blows my mind about that is that dude who directed this new Godzilla says he was going back to like the 1954 version and was all like, oh, you know, I took a lot of inspiration from the original instead of all the other stuff. The original was cut all crazy for American audiences to include more white guys, which is literally what the 2014 Godzilla did too.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's insane to have a movie that takes place in Japan that like features like 6 Japanese people.
I see one more goddamn movie that's like focuses on just like military dudes doing military stuff, I will never go to the movies again.
Well, unfortunately, that is going to keep happening.
I'm so sick and tired of like this hoorah, like, brr, like we're moving along, yeah, all right, like here's a train, it's going fast, yeah. It's just so like. But
so, are you referring to the movie Denzel Washington versus Train?
Yeah, Denzel Washington versus Train.
There's literally like that movie is called Unstoppable, but I had so many friends refer to it as Denzel Washington versus Train that I thought that was the name of the movie.
I do. I think it says a lot for like movies these days, where you can literally break down any movie to like X versus X.
Yep.
Like this versus this. So like, you know, Sam Jackson versus Snakes. God.
But that was a cultural phenomenon, wasn't it?
God, so stupid. Remember when internet memes actually meant something? Whatever. Anyways,
Lil Bub.
So Godzilla, right? So basically, the point being is Godzilla had like 2 female characters, both of which did nothing.
Yeah,
there you go. And that frustrated me personally because I'm like, dude, it's 2014. Like, are you kidding me with this right now?
Yep.
You know, and it's just so weird.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was like Daddy Issues, the movie. Like that's pretty much what it was.
And a monster.
Like my dad died. That sucks. And there's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mean lizard.
All right, Ian, I'm gonna wrap us up. But tell me, what do you want us to know you're working on, and where are you gonna be in the near future? If anyone wants to be there.
Well, I'm working on Bravest Warriors right now.
Goddamn right.
Yep, I got a couple of secret projects that I can't talk about now. They're Z2. They used to be Zip Comics. One is gonna be a big one. I'm really excited about that. I'm sure you'll hear about it later, Kate.
You can text me in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm working on my own books. I got my book Chomp through Top Shelf. It's going to be out sometime next year. It's a cooking book / graphic novel. So that should be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it should be. I'm really excited for it. It's been. I've been working on it for 4 years. Is how long. It was actually my college thesis project.
Wow.
Yeah, and Chris Steros, the main dude from Top Shelf, was like a nice enough guy to actually give me a shot. So big props to him. Or maybe not if it does really badly, but we'll see.
I think it's gonna be great.
And I'm gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then I'm gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna be at Denver Comic Con. I got Phoenix Comic Con coming up. I'll be at San Diego, probably New York.
I hope they're taking us to New York, man. I hope.
I hope so. Possibly you and I might do Memphis together. I'm not sure yet.
I still haven't got an email back from that guy.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great. We'll be doing appearances as the Bravest Warriors family. If people are finding you online, I know on Twitter you're at Ian McGinty. McGinty is McGinty. Where else can people find you?
Basically, you can just Google Ian McGinty and you can find everything, ianmcginty.com. My Tumblr is Ian McGinty. Everything's Ian McGinty.
That's really easy.
Very easy. Yeah, it's super easy.
It's very straightforward.
It's like the one thing in my life that's super easy right now is how to find me.
Finding you. All right. Well, Ian, thank you so much for talking to me. I'm very excited that our book is coming out in like a month.
God, it's gonna be so good.
Almost there. I'm so stoked. So yeah, you have a lovely evening.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Dream of kaiju. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I know that you want to the pages.
Well, that about does it for our first episode. Thank you for tuning in. There will be another one in about 2 weeks. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, you can tweet us at LTLcast or you can find me at Kate Leth.
Did you know I've been staring at you this whole time? This was a Village Soundcast Network original production.